so glad that you're with us. Hey, my next guest coming up is Mike Shoesmith. Mike is the executive editor of the mega popular, world-famous ppsimmons News and Ministry Network. It's just amazing how many millions of people that network reaches. And so he's the executive editor of that, but he's also a syndicated blogger. He's an author. He is a theologian extraordinaire, and he has been a correspondent to Freedom Friday since the inception of this show many years ago. And so it's always my honor to have Mike on. Listen, I'm going to bring him on, and Mike and I'm going to try to entice Mike to jump off into a discussion of evolution. There's some stuff that's been in the news lately, but tying into that, I want to tell my audience, go to carlgallups.com. Over on the right, click on the link that says PP Simmons' latest videos. And or if you know how to get to the PP Simmons page, PP Simmons, www.ppsimmons.com. You can get everything there at the network. But just go to the PP Simmons YouTube. The very latest video that was put up is entitled Shock Admission. Evolution is Blind Faith. That video is going crazy right now. I produced it earlier. I praise God he gave me the wisdom and the understanding to do this, and I shot it over to the PP Simmons folks. They posted it. It's going crazy. Let me read one of the comments under it right now. From a guy named John Buchanan. He says, I have studied geology, ancient history, megalithic architecture, biblical archaeology, and evolution for over 40 years. I've read everything you can name and just about every author you can cite. But that short dissertation you just gave in that video is one of the best, if not the best critique of evolution I have ever heard, period. Thank you, sir. That's what John Buchanan says about that video. Thank you, John. You're very gracious. I appreciate you saying that. It is pretty cool. I mean, it is. It's only 10 minutes long. It's called Shock Admission. Evolution is Blind Faith. Folks, I want you to go to that. I want you to listen to it sometime today. It's 10 minutes long. We're going to get a fancier version of it up soon. Mike Shoesmith was just telling me he's going to have his PP Simmons folks work on it and really doctor it up with some nice music and video and pictures and stuff. It's basically just audio right now, but you got to go hear it. Shock Admission. Evolution is Blind Faith. Mike Shoesmith, I'm so glad that you're part of the show today. And talking about evolution, we've got some new proof, the evolutionists are saying this week, some new proof that life came from outer space.
Yeah, we've got a BS alert out there, Carl. Of course, as you know, BS stands for bad science.
Yeah, bad science. I know, Bachelor of Science and then bad science. Yeah, BS alert. Gotcha. Go ahead.
Right. There's a BS alert here. There's breaking news this week. An incredible picture proves that there is life on other planets.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure if you caught that or not. This incredible picture proves that there's life on other planets.
I saw the picture.
Let me read a little bit of this for you.
Okay.
This never-before-seen photograph shows a mysterious dragon-shaped organism found in space, which they claim also reveals that all life on Earth, Carl, including you,
right,
is extraterrestrial in origin.
That's right.
And it goes on to say it was discovered in dust and particulate matter gathered deep in the Earth's stratosphere. Its finders say that it is a biological entity. This is what it's made out of. This is very important now. It's made of two things, carbon and oxygen, the building blocks of life. And the scientists who made the incredible find insist there is no way it could have blown up into space from our planet.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
No way.
There's no way that carbon and there's no way that carbon and oxygen could have blown up into space from our planet, Carl. So it must have originated elsewhere in the universe.
Yes.
It was discovered.
Yes.
It was discovered by Professor Milton Wainwright and his team from the University of Sheffield and the University of Buckingham Center for Astrobiology. So these are professors. These are the people in charge of educating the youth out there. Professor Wainwright sent balloons into the stratosphere, 27 kilometers, so that's 18 miles, above the Earth's atmosphere to collect particles from space. We're almost done here. He claimed that they have discovered, what they have discovered is not only proof that life exists in outer space, Carl, but that extraterrestrial organisms are continually raining down on Earth. Now listen.
Never mind that could have gone up on the balloon with it. But anyway, go ahead. I mean, go ahead. I mean, never mind that they sent something from Earth into space and they're declaring, oh, look what we found on it. Gosh, where did that come from? It couldn't have come from Earth. I mean, this is science. This is science. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. I think it's a piece of space poop is what I think. Yeah, but you know, the International Space Station is dumping their toilets all the time. I mean, carbon and oxygen, little granules. They better be careful how they handle that. They don't know what they're.
You're stealing my thunder here, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got one more sentence.
Go ahead. Are you going to be able to do this interview, man?
We got one more sentence to wade our way through here. He said the photo shows a structure colloquially called the dragon particle.
Yeah.
Scientific analysis shows. Now listen, if this thing has two components, carbon and oxygen, that's it.
Right.
And is therefore, now listen, he closes with this. He says, therefore, it is not a piece of cosmic or volcanic dust.
Right.
Now, it's important that they say that because they're being preemptive here.
Right.
Because actually, he says there's no way this could have blown up from Earth.
Right.
Volcanoes regularly, especially the most powerful volcanoes, regularly blow oxygen and carbon into the stratosphere.
Yep.
Well, they blow it. The stronger ones, most of them, they end up in the atmosphere, but the stronger ones regularly blow carbon and oxygen. You know, water is a huge part of volcanic eruptions. And carbon, obviously, all that stuff gets blown violently into the stratosphere.
Right.
And he's saying they're being preemptive here with this, and they're saying, look, there's no way this could be a piece of volcanic dust. So they're admitting that volcanoes do spew material that high. He's saying because it was found all by itself. It's
right.
not found in a body of volcanic material.
Right.
It's found all by itself.
Right.
You know, essentially saying. We are presupposing that there's no way that a piece of volcanic dust could have drifted away from the rest of the body.
Right. And
there is that option.
Yeah. And when volcanic dust is exploding into the what's it bringing with it? It's not just volcanic dust that goes into the stratosphere.
Oh, it's blowing all kinds of material.
That's what I'm screaming.
Right, including the two components that are melted together in this microblob.
And by the way, this
carbon.
Thank you. And this blob is not alive either. It's not even living.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, go ahead.
Now, I don't know. It's just a brief biology lesson here. Most of the human body is made up of water, and we're going to get into what made us chuckle earlier here. Most of the human body is made up of water,
right.
And it's split up into essentially 6 elements. Can you guess what the top 2 are? I've already mentioned them 3 times here.
Probably, if I had to guess, probably oxygen and carbon. Probably.
Oxygen and carbon. Those are the top 2 items. In fact, the human body is 65% oxygen, right?
Right.
So now we're gonna stay scientific here, but it may sound a little crude. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
When the astronauts go up into space.
Wait just a minute. Mallory, do we have our delay? And just in case he says something he ought not to say, do we have it set? Okay, she says she's ready. All right, go ahead. All right.
Well, she didn't bleep out BS, so I think we're good.
Well,
for the
but
rest of it here.
that's bad science. But anyway, just remember we have children listening. All right, go ahead.
Right. Well, I really think that the Lord has a great sense of humor here because CBS New York is reporting that the operations foreman at a wastewater treatment plant in Secaucus, New Jersey, is reporting that a piece of space debris fell from the sky and landed onto the wastewater treatment plant in New Jersey, by the way.
I know, I saw that.
That's being reported today.
I saw that.
Yes, and I just think that is amazing that because that tells us that there's a lot of stuff going on out in space.
Right.
And stuff is coming from space to Earth.
Right.
And some of that stuff is the human remains. You know, people have to use the facilities in space. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not.
Yes.
And they don't leave it in the spaceship. They eject it from the spaceship.
Correct.
They wrap it up.
Thank you.
They eject it from the spaceship. And it ends up going down through space, enters into the stratosphere, and they hope burns up. Well, we know that not everything burns up when it enters into the atmosphere because a lot of that stuff crashes down to Earth.
Right.
You know, satellites and stuff, all that stuff does not get burned up. Some of it stays intact and it hits the planet. And so here we have the human body is made up, the 2 primary elements are carbon and oxygen.
Right.
And here we have this microblob made up of carbon and oxygen floating around in the stratosphere. Could it be that what we are witnessing here on this picture is a small piece of the captain's log? I'm just saying.
You're right. Maybe. Another words, a little piece of space poop. I mean,
but
you know,
I tried to keep it classy here. But if you want to call it space poop, I mean, it could very well be.
It could very well be that, and any number of things, as well as a piece of material that went up with the balloon they sent into the stratosphere. I mean,
the
please
balloon,
help me.
Somebody couldn't wait. Somebody on Earth, they couldn't wait. They're putting together this project together. Said, "Man, I really got to go."
Yeah.
And some of that gets on the balloon, or some volcanic activity sends it up into the stratosphere. And all we're saying is this is an interesting find, but it doesn't even come close to being proof that aliens exist.
The very comment, the very declaration they're making is an example of junk science, pseudoscience being passed off as settled scientific fact. And, and even if, let's just say that somehow they had some kind of evidence that seemed overwhelming that extraterrestrial influence created everything here, explains everything. Okay, well, two things I say to that. Number one, that's what the Bible says. God is extraterrestrial. He is not from here. The earth is his footstool. The universe is just but one of his creations. So he is extraterrestrial. Secondly, if they're talking about little green men from another planet, then you have to ask, where did they come from? Where did they begin? I mean, they just talk themselves into a big, fat, ugly, pseudoscientific circle and claim to be wise, and they're really becoming fools.
Right, and in a more solemn, serious note, this is a horrendous indictment against the people who claim to be professors, professing to be wise, as you say, and these people are in charge of teaching the next generation of children.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're claiming this as proof.
I know. It's heartbreaking. We've got to take a time out, Mike. Hey, well.